Hello everyone, I'm Brian Dragon and welcome back to Microsoft Ancient Lands. Today, Corpulus, Nero's right-hand man. Let's start the tour.
Hey, fetch me another cup and be quick about it. So, Flavius sent you to his old friend Corpulus about a contract? Oh, I fix things all right, but I think you're a little confused. I don't work with my hands. I got started with Nero. He thought I was his right-hand man. I suppose the twit was right in a way. He was a stupid little puppet, and I pulled his strings. I made him what he was, and if the fool had listened to me, he'd still be in the palace, instead of strumming his lyre in the underworld. He's probably still out of tune. Look, why don't you click me, and I'll tell you how things really get done in Rome.
And just one moment.
Nero wasn't very good at being bad. He tried 5 times to kill his own mother before soldiers finally finished the job. But eventually, even clumsy Nero made himself as hated and feared as any other murderous ruler of the empire.
Yes. Three times the poisoner, rigged a trap to make the ceiling above her bed fall and crush her, put her on a boat designed to fall apart. Yeah, that's definitely it.
Nero never would have made it to the palace in the first place without my help. You see, his mother Agrippina was married to the Emperor Claudius, who'd already picked his own son to take over when he died. But Agrippina and we had an understanding. She wanted Nero on the throne fast, and I wanted more out of life than a job in the imperial treasury counting the emperor's money. We arranged a nice banquet to celebrate some silly anniversary. Poor old Claudius. My dear, he said, the mushrooms taste a little off tonight, don't you think? He didn't join us for dessert, if you know what I mean.
Yes, we all know what you mean.
With Claudius out of the way, Nero got down to business. I'll say this for the lad, he wasn't squeamish, but he never could go for the simple solution. Always wanted something flashy. Even when we'd decided it was time to take his mother out of the picture, he couldn't resist fooling around, concocting poisons, setting booby traps. He even had a boat rigged to fall apart at sea, hoping she'd drown. Things were getting out of hand until I paid some guards to finish her off. As emperor, Nero started out okay. Listened to advice, gave away a lot of grain, threw parties for the golden chariot set. He was really good at first, working the crowd, saying his lines like I taught him, looking a little bigger than life, but not too big. But he didn't pace himself, and he just couldn't resist showing off. See, I actually got to know our hero Nero down at the racetrack before he became emperor. The ponies are a little weakness of mine. Turns out he's not just laying down a few bets, he wants to race himself. Only he's not doing too well. But I make a few suggestions to the right people, and suddenly he's lapping everybody. Sure, that one cost me a bit, but I think of it as an investment. Next thing I know, I'm having dinner at the palace, giving my favorite mushroom recipe to his mother. You had to have a pretty strong stomach to make it through one of Nero's banquets, let me tell you. No, the food was fine. Never had better flamingo flambé in my life. It was the music that put me off my feed. I suppose it's my fault that Nero thought he could sing and play the lyre. I figured it would keep him busy. Instead, he tortures everyone with Greek dithyrambs, and I used to think the screams from the cellar sounded bad. He even toured Greece, won every contest, and came home with a chest full of gold coins. Imagine my surprise.
Well, he was probably... Well, Greece was under Roman control, so I doubt he won out of any real skill.
I think that trip pushed him over the edge. At first, nobody minded when he started ordering up statues of himself. It kept a lot of people busy. Work's work, right? But when he put up that big colossus of himself, well, that was too much. He wouldn't even listen to me on that one. He lost his sense of proportion, that's what it was. One day, while we're cooling off after a long spell in the steam room, he tells me he's going to build himself a golden palace. Where? I ask him. Rome's so crowded there's no room left for even a doghouse. There, he says, and he sweeps his hand across half of Rome. Well, to make a long story short, a big fire starts and burns for 9 days. It was my idea to blame the Christians.
Of course it was.
Then I arranged to buy up all the burned-out land. Nero designed the new mansion himself. To me, it looked like a Persian palace had landed on top of a Greek temple, but I'm no art critic. We even added a lake and vineyards, plus a few guest houses for trusted friends and advisors, like me. It wasn't such a bad deal for the city, either. We rebuilt all the streets, put up lots of new apartments, and I made a few new friends in the construction trades. Oh, those were the days, let me tell you. But the house turned into a major PR problem. And let me give you a piece of advice. Stay away from land deals. Anyway, our great Roman public turned nasty. Armies in the provinces wanted more money. We tried a few treason trials to scare them off, but nothing worked. In the end, Nero gets chased out of Rome and falls to pieces. Then, on his sword. At least, that's the story. Myself, I was busy making a few discreet donations to the Praetorian Guard. Speaking of which, I'm having lunch with a couple of important generals. Click me again, and maybe one of the other guides can teach you a few things. Where's my toga?
Yes, well, that was Corpulus. Anyway, I'm Brian Quordrigan signing out. Stay straight.